Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. The Syrian city of Raqqa became the Islamic State group's de facto capital in early 2014. Since then, it's ruled with an iron fist. On June 6th, the Syrian Democratic Forces, an alliance between Arab and Kurdish groups, announced the start of the battle for Raqqa. They're getting air support from the international coalition. The jihadists recently lost Mosul in Iraq, as well as Ramadi. But the fight for Raqqa has only just begun. James, André and Mayssa Awad bring you this report.
We are inside Raqqa. This Syrian Democratic Forces sniper position dominates the capital of the Islamic State group's self-styled caliphate. This is the western front line of the battle. Just a few days ago, filming here was still punished by decapitation.
Okay, let's do it, comrades.
The IS group fighters who terrorized the people here for the best part of 4 years are now invisible, hidden inside nearby buildings. A rocket just grazed our position. The fighters rushed to their combat stations.
Do you see that row of buildings? They're there, in the third building.
In this neighborhood, the battle is mainly a sniper fight. Takushin learned to shoot in Kobane. This young fighter's morale is high.
We're advancing very slowly. We're not in a hurry. If that's what God wants, we will liberate Raqqa. We want to fight them face to face, to see what they're made of. It's their last battle.
The IS fighter's position is too far, out of range for this heavy machine gun. The coalition's air power comes into play.
Perfect. They're exactly the coordinates that I gave them. They came and launched strikes, which hit over there. We passed on the position of the Daesh snipers to the coalition, and it was a direct hit.
4 stories down on the streets, the situation is tense. A fighter has been hit. The Syrian Democratic Forces rely on a few homemade armored vehicles to evacuate the wounded and supply the front lines. Local mechanics have welded sheets of steel to old 4x4 chassis. Agid drives one of these. He is fearless.
Food, water, I carry everything they need. And sometimes when they're wounded comrades, I'll go out and get them.
Driving around Raqqa is extremely dangerous. Streets are mined. The car must never stop, or the Islamic State militants will target it with anti-tank rockets. When the road is blocked, Agid has to improvise. Today, the obstacle is a steel oil drum. Agid jumps out of the moving car, clears the road, and leaps back behind the wheel. He is used to this maneuver. In Raqqa, stopping the car can have you killed. On board, there is water, fruit, eggs, sugar, basic supplies that are crucial to fighters on the front line, and Agid risks his life to deliver them.
Yesterday, the snipers fired at us on our way to the front line. They also shot at us on our return at night. To try to stop us, they used anti-tank missiles, but we drove away very fast and fortunately they missed us. There are still Daesh fighters in that ruined building over there. Our comrades have been targeted by their snipers, so we've returned fire. Some civilians came out near here and were shot at by the jihadists.
Commander Zana has just returned from an offensive that turned ugly. The fighters mostly advance at night or during the early hours of the day. Daesh ambushed his combat group.
Today we advanced a further 400 to 500 meters. We took 2 streets, and when we reached our goal, they attacked us from 4 different directions. They used car bombs, heavy machine guns, and especially snipers. Our comrades returned fire and the coalition dropped bombs.
Though the streets appear deserted, some civilians are still hiding. They dig themselves in, hoping to survive. They only come out when the fighting stops. Some of them come to seek help in this makeshift SDF base. They are often in shock.
We lived through terrifying days. You can't imagine. Bombs fell like pebbles, like rain. Our neighbours are dead. Abu Bandar and his entire family were torn to shreds. There were body parts everywhere. Another neighbour, Abu Hamas, was hit in the head by shrapnel and died on the spot. Qutaiba, his son, lost his hand.
People were saying that the Kurds were coming, and I went out to see. The Daesh sniper shot me. I felt the bullet brush past. I ducked. A second bullet hit me. 2 bullets. Look, it went right through here. I had to stitch myself up.
We leave the western front of the battle for eastern Raqqa, 16 kilometers away. To get there, we have to avoid Daesh-controlled territory to the north, a 5-hour trip. There, we meet Clara. She is in charge on this front. Equipped with a tablet and a radio, she dispatches the fighters. They are ordered to position themselves to storm IS-held buildings tonight. Clara also leads coordination with the coalition.
The plane didn't fire. Abort, it's okay. They got away alive. They're alive.
Her tablet displays a satellite map of the city that shows her units and known enemy positions in real time. From this base, coalition aircraft action over the city is visible. The Syrian Democratic Forces are not the only ones using high-tech equipment in the battle for Raqqa. The jihadists use drones to hit this position at the entrance of the city. The front line is several hundred meters away, but bombs keep landing here all day.
There's something in the sky. Stay alert and let me know as soon as the drone shows up.
Take cover. Get down quickly.
This position is bombed at least 15 times a day by IS drones. They are small and very difficult to hit. Clara shows us one that was struck down the day before.
They attach the bomb here. They fly it using a remote control, and when they see our comrades, they release it.
There's a support here, and then the bomb is dropped on the ground.
There are drones and snipers. This combat group returns from the front line. Today, they found themselves fighting against children.
During the day, they send us children from Raqqa. We hear them shouting, so we look out, and the snipers shoot at us. That's their strategy. That's how they trap us. They call them the lion cubs of the caliphate. They're trained and brainwashed by the jihadists to carry weapons, shout Allahu Akbar, and copy the adult fighters.
So what do you do?
You see them and you feel sorry for them. You don't want to shoot at them, but you have to get them to leave. They want to fight us and kill us. For them, we're the terrorists.
This young boy has managed to escape Daesh and flee the old city of Raqqa with his father on a motorbike.
We've had no bread since the 10th day of Ramadan. We no longer see jihadists here. They're all fighting.
The father is determined to go and fetch the rest of his family. This armored vehicle escorts him to the SDF's most advanced position.
Attention all comrades. If you can hear me, don't shoot at the moped that's following us. They're civilians.
We advance towards the center of the city. Daesh has closed and mined every single street. Our destination in the Al-Batani neighborhood is less than 400 meters away from the old city's historic walls. For now, the fighting has stopped. Clara wants to make sure these two civilians get a chance to succeed.
Leave your son with us. We'll look after him until you return.
No, it's better if he stays with me.
You're going on the bike?
Yes.
I'll give you some water and supplies. Take that with you.
The man and his son ride off towards the Islamic State stronghold. Now, they're on their own. They hope to return alive with their whole family. The FDS have promised to cover them. Just as they leave, heavy fighting starts.
Kandil, are you there? Take cover. Can we move now?
Yes, but in the armoured vehicle.
They fire with a 23mm gun and a mortar. Be careful.
Okay, great. Let's get going.
Minutes later, at the rear, on Baghdad Road, an ambulance arrives. It is carrying a fighter who was wounded during the attack. He is seen to in this small shop, used as a field hospital. The man was blasted by a mortar shell. The Syrian Democratic Forces do not give figures when it comes to losses, but the death toll in the battle for Raqqa will most likely be high.
James, André, thank you so much for joining us on set. Close to 50,000 civilians are reportedly still trapped in Raqqa, like the father and his son that you met, who took huge risks to save other members of their family. What happened to them? Do you know?
Well, we have absolutely no idea. We've been calling them every single day, trying to get, hold of people on the ground that could tell us what had happened to them, and we don't know. Now, it's important to note that since that was filmed, roughly 20,000 civilians have managed to flee Raqqa. So it is a bit like searching for a needle in a haystack. The fact of the matter is we do not know. They could very well have been killed as they were driving back. All that fighting that took place was very, very violent just after they turned that corner you see in that report. And they could also have been caught by the Islamic State group as they were arriving in the old city of Raqqa. So we don't know. We will try and find out, but it's not easy.
Now, what about Daesh, the Islamic State group? Where are they getting their supplies from, and how long can they last at this point?
So the question of how long they can last, we have no idea. The fact of the matter is they've been able to prepare that city since January 2014. Now, it is a very symbolic city for the Islamic State group. It is the Syrian capital of their caliphate. It's the first large city they ever controlled, and it is the most symbolic city in their ideology. So they have, and that is something we know for sure, they've prepared this battle. They've got stockpiles of ammunition, stockpiles of food in there. They've also fortified the city. They've dug tunnels underneath the city. What I can also tell you is that a large part of the leaders of the Islamic State group have been taken out of the city. They've been taken to cities like Mayadin, Deir ez-Zor. That battle is not finished with the fall of Raqqa. But the fact of the matter is they are now besieged. There's nothing coming in or going out of central Raqqa, the part they still control. But no one knows how long they can actually hold up for.
Now, there are women fighting in this battle, like Clara, who we see in the report. What is their role in the battle?
Well, their role is very much exactly the same role as the men. I can tell you, having been there, that we saw them on the front lines. We saw them storming buildings, being actually at the head of the offensive. Clara, for example, is the actual commander of all that eastern front of Raqqa. She's one of the main commanders in this battle of Raqqa. And now we saw other women who were also in commanding positions. So that's a very stark contrast, of course, with the Islamic State group, who pretty much as enslaved women. And also it's important to note that these women believe that they are extremely feared by the jihadists, because indeed in the IS's ideology, if you are killed by a woman, you don't get anything in the afterlife. So indeed, they have very high morale, and they're very much on the front line and in the front, and they're not, there's no tokenism there. They really are playing an incredibly important role.
Thank you, James, for that report. Thank you for watching. More news is coming up on France 24. Stay with us.